Well. Welcome to Capecast. Good afternoon, Alan. How are you?
Good, Brandon. How you?
I am doing well, doing pretty well. Seems like it's just going to be you and me tonight. Um, Ryan wanted to join us, but his lovely wife, Katie, decided to surprise him with tickets to a Hawks game. So, sports ruins Capecast once again.
I know.
I'm used to it at this point, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah, he's really got to stop straddling the fence.
I agree. I need a higher commitment level from him. Katie texted me last week or maybe the weekend. She was like, "Hey, can I steal Ryan from Tuesday's Capecast?" And I was like, "Yeah, that'd be great for me." And secretly, I'm like, "Man, it's a big news week. Ryan's gonna be bummed that he's not here to talk about all this Capecast goodness." But I'm sure he's just as excited to be, if not more excited. Katie, I'm saying that for Katie's sake. He's probably even more excited to be with you at a Hawks game, not with us on Capecast.
That's right.
So let it be known. Anyway,
so
hey, what's up, Dave? How are you, man? Well, before we get started, because like I said, we do have a lot of things to touch upon. Per usual, you can find everything that Capecast does. For the most part, it's going to be on Twitter at Capecast Show, and then the whole CiNEMACHiNE network you can find at CiNEMACHiNEpod.com. And there you can find links to YouTube, which you're here. Thank you for being on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know we're streaming, and share with your friends. And yeah, we're on Patreon now. We have a few patrons, so thank you guys for all your patronage. And yeah, if you want to throw us some dollars, we will gladly accept those. Yeah, that's that. So, Alan, you said your week's been good, or your day's been good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. Anything new in Alan's world?
No, we did the Valentine's Day stuff this weekend.
You did you want to try to beat the crowd with this weekend?
Yeah, we went out Saturday night. It's not really a local restaurant, but it's a restaurant in Clemson. There's one in Greenville. There's a few here in South Carolina. We went to the Clemson location, Rick Irwin's. It was pretty good.
Nice. Very nice. Good. Yeah, we were gonna go somewhere this week, but I think we're just gonna end up doing something either next week or try and fit it in at some point. Time kind of got away,
Yeah, with my on-call schedule, I had to kind of get in where I fit in, so yeah, had to be this weekend for us. So yeah,
word. I hear you. I saw your post. I got to see some young Alan pics. You posting you and Mandy on your socials. Yeah. Where'd your gauges go? Or not your gauges, but your hoop earrings.
Yeah, I had
one of those.
What I think they were sixes. I mean, so they were gauged. They just weren't, on the level of some folks, but they're still there. I can still slide them in if I need to, but I don't wear them all that often anymore. So yeah, well, I put it in there. The holes are there. It's more like studs now. Like I'd look very try hard if I put in earrings right now. So
yeah, well, maybe you can bring it back.
There we go. Who knows?
I'll try and encourage it. The world needs it. Okay, speaking of something that the world needs, they released the Aircut account. There's a couple of them, but one of them put out a video from Ayers' cut of Suicide Squad a few days. Was it yesterday that
I think it was yesterday.
This? Yeah, it was yesterday. It was. Yeah. 214. It's kind of unfortunate that they tried to do this campaign on 214 just because of 214 is historically just Snyder stuff.
Yeah,
it's been that for a few years now. Even though this is kind of tangentially related to that, it would have been better to do it on a day that wouldn't have had other things competing with it. And we'll get into some other things that did compete with it later. But yeah, did you see this video that was posted?
I did. I actually didn't catch it yesterday. I caught it this morning, when I was fixing my coffee at my office. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what'd you think of the video? It's a short video. It's 10 seconds long or so.
But it paints a very different dynamic of Harley and Mr. J's relationship. So, that would, I would have liked to have seen where that went, or I'd like to see where that went.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely more in the abusive relationship realm, which is what their relationship historically has been. And they kind of tried to make it some sort of like chaotic love story, which it is, but it's also, like I said, it's also abusive, and it's, it's one of the things that makes, even though I didn't like Birds of Prey, it makes there a reason for there to be an emancipation of Harley Quinn. Like, like this movie doesn't really set up any of that, or the theatrical version doesn't. Because it kind of ends on a happy note with them, and there's nothing too, I guess, controversial about their relationship, and so that was definitely something that was missing. But yeah, I mean, it's a short clip, but it is cool. It's interesting how, like, I don't understand the logistics of them putting this out. It still is out. It's not an official clip, so it's essentially kind of a leaked thing, but it hasn't been taken down. Seemed like it was like a screen capture of somebody's phone playing the clip.
That's what, it's definitely not very refined, for sure.
Yeah. And so, yeah, so it's interesting. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I am definitely a fan of, hey, let's release this. I'd love to see it, because I was one of those people that was very excited by the Comic-Con sizzle reel trailer, the initial first trailer, back in 2000, whatever it was, 15, 14. I don't remember when it was. Like that Tone the I Started a Joke trailer. Yeah, for sure, Dave. For sure. I don't think that this is going to be such a drastic departure in terms of, a difference of a movie like the Snyder Cut ended up being.
Yeah.
But I do think it would be an improvement, because that theatrical, I know a lot of people enjoy the theatrical. I'm not really one of the people that enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've talked about Suicide Squad.
Not in too much detail, but
yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, yeah, I just, I don't think it's going to be a crazy stark difference, but I do want to see it. And I do think there will be tone wise. There's an actual score that was created for this movie that's not really in the theatrical cut of the movie. And just hearing that, like, there was a cut from Christopher Nolan's editor makes me even more intrigued. I don't know if that was like, hey, we'll get Nolan's guy to do it, and then they got the Trailer Park guys to do the other one. If that was like, if that Nolan cut is Ayers' cut, or if it's a cut that was before that actually happened, I'm not sure. But I do want to see it. I hope that they release it. And, it seems like whoever is running this account has an in with Ayer, with you, Alan, because you are Ayer. So I imagine that's who's feeding them this content. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see if and when it happens. But yeah, I'm more like, just, even if it's like in more of a rough form than a truly finished and expanded upon version like ZSJL was, I'd be down to see it, because I do think there's a lot there that would appeal to my sensibilities a lot more. Not sure that it would be like, oh, this is an amazing movie, but I think it would be a better movie. One thing that this clip did do for me is really give more credit to Snyder's directing with Leto's Joker. It reminded me how much I didn't really care for him in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
But liked him in his scene at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League. So there is that. but whether or not there's more, in line with what he did in ZSGL in this David haircut is yet to be seen. But this doesn't give me that indication, so to speak. But yeah, so I definitely like to see it because there's obviously a lot that was on the cutting room floor. I mean, Will Smith said it a few weeks ago about that being the case. So, and we all knew that. It's not nothing new, but.
And it was just, it just felt, I don't know. It felt like a lot of the meddling that's went on with the DC properties that Warner Brothers had their hands on, then where, it just felt pieced together. There were aspects of it that I really liked. I love the casting of just about everybody in the movie. And I love the color, and the aspect. I liked all that. I just things felt, I don't know. Like you said, I mean, you went from, you couldn't remove the Harley origin, where the Joker is basically giving her shock treatment, and everything. So there's that version of their awful story that they have, this weird relationship. And then it kind of goes away after that. You know what I mean? It's, it's really almost like an S&M type relationship and not really anything abusive at all. It's just, I don't know. Things like that. I liked the casting of Leto. I would like to have seen that more. I feel like the version in the air cut would be more in line with Zack's version that we saw. And
I hope so. I don't think it's going to be quite the same, but we're also talking about, post-apocalyptic Joker versus this Joker. So you can reason it away, but yeah, so that happened. Pretty cool to see. And hopefully something comes of it. Release the haircut. # release the haircut. Okay. All right, let's see. Next up on the list, speaking of 214 and things competing with kind of the trending that was going on for haircut, Zack Snyder also posted in celebration of 214 a picture of one of the first posters for the movie, and then it's one of those like just when I thought I was out, they pulled me right back in type thing. For a lot of people. Ryan sent this to me and he was like, dang it, Zack. He was like, he was starting to get a little bit of, all right, it's over. I'm kind of, whatever, not necessarily that it's over, but just like, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, whatever. Trying to kind of hedge his bets a little bit. And then Zack posted this and he was like, okay. Like, it seems like that happens every like 2 or 3 months. It's like, all right, everything in the news is so like nothing's gonna happen, yada yada yada. Losing hope in this Discover merger, all the executives hating Zack and squashing our any dream that we may have of this continuing. But then Zack will be like, hey, don't lose hope, or he'll drop something cryptic, and this is another one of those things. And I think this is a King Arthur quote, which he's or Excalibur quote that he's very into Excalibur. He uses it a lot in his in Justice League specifically, and a lot of these teases he'll pull little quotes from that. But but yeah,
I didn't actually notice that till Dave pointed it out. The two just so happens to be placed underneath the JL there.
I've seen people say that. I think it's a happy coincidence that that's the case. I know
we can hope. But,
I hope that that's the case for sure, but I don't know. Could be a reach. But yeah, I must ride with my knights to defend what was and the dream of what could be. And obviously the big kicker in that is of what could be. And that set us on fire again. Now we're back, baby. So yeah, that was cool of him to post that. I mean, I expected him to do something. He always does something like that. So, but yeah, any thoughts on your end with, I mean, there's not really much else to gain from it. besides him obviously teasing, not necessarily teasing, but just like saying, hey, you never know. And that's the truth. You never know. Things change, things ebb and flow. And so
there's still we got Ann in the comment section.
Oh no.
Early.
Yeah. That's right, Ann. They are.
Yeah.
To you. They are.
But I mean, you never know with the merger what's going to happen. You know what I mean? I'm kind of trying to stay in there.
Listen, anybody can get excited for whatever they want to. I've found for myself it's best to remain as optimistic, but not get my hopes up too much, because they just tend to, especially with DC, they just continue to get squashed. So I'll remain optimistic. I hope that things happen, but take everything with a grain of salt, and just, it's one of those things. At the end of the day, it's a movie. It's movies, it's not the end of the world, but it's something that we all care a lot about. So I do hope that that we get some sort of indication that things are progressing, and hopefully, if there seems to be some regime change, you just got to get Toby Emmerich out of there. Somehow he's remained unscathed with all these mergers and different executive changes of the guard. I want my goodbye Toby tweet that I put out months and months and months ago to actually mean something. I get that from the office. It needs to happen. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Now I'm gonna kind of lean on you a little bit for this one, Alan. Right. So, a Wonder Twins movie is coming for the DC Films universe. Now, I don't know anything about Wonder Twins. I'll be the first to admit. So I'm hoping that you do. Do you know?
Just a vague amount. They really never had a huge comic book presence. It was more really the Super Friends. And actually, on Mandy and I went to New York in February of 2019, and I actually picked up the first edition of the Wonder Twins comic. So
let's take a look at it. Here it is.
It's really a similar artwork to the screen grab you got there, but I actually have never even opened it. I just bought it because it was the first edition, and I was at Midtown Comics on Times Square and wanted to spend money. So I bought it. I don't know if I'll ever read it. Maybe I will now, just because. I mean, I know everybody knows the premise of their, she can turn into animals, he can turn into water or ice, I believe, and that's pretty much it. And the monkey's just a monkey. It's not really anything.
So Anne she's doing Pilates, and she's mincing words and making, she's spying. I don't know why she's spying on us specifically. Yeah, we know stuff. I don't know.
We don't know nothing. Yeah. Maybe she's just trying to say what we want.
That just tells you what kind of executive Ann is, coming to Capecast to try and wean some sort of. I mean, that's not smart.
evidently, she's not listening to what we're saying for sure. Yeah. But okay, so the monkey's name is Gleek. I couldn't remember the monkey's name. Dave's on point there.
He knows. He must be a Wonder Twins stan. Yeah. That's cool. I mean, Ryan sent this to me, and once again, it was like, of course, they're making something that, it's like, I'm sure some people care about it, but not a lot, whereas there is a huge fan base wanting something in particular. Oh yeah, they're not wanting to appeal to those people, so that's just frustrating. That's right.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always
for
good
sure.
When Ann stops by, though.
I know. We kid. Talking about that, talking about things that people. I did see where James Gunn tweeted something out earlier this week about, nobody asked for you know, the
Mm-hmm.
Sopranos. Nobody asked for this, nobody asked for that. And I will give him credit. He has taken a character that I didn't ask for a show
It
about
doesn't
him.
really,
You know what I mean? But
I saw that tweet too, and that's fine and people like it
yeah.
as far as the Peacemaker. But as far as comparing it to like nobody asked for Sopranos, it's like, but it's not like the Sopranos was the Sopranos. It was an original IP. It wasn't like they made a show about, you know, Carmine or somebody. Carmine, what's her name? It's like a different character. Like any character.
Yeah, pick a character, any character. Yeah.
I was gonna say Tony, but like anybody in the Sopranos. I've only seen 2.5 seasons, so I can't. My memory is failing me right now. But let's just say like Dickie Moltisanti, like they just made a movie about him, and then they're like, we're making a Sopranos show. That would be similar as his situation where he made Suicide Squad and made a show about the most annoying character in the movie, in my opinion.
And mine as well.
So I don't think it's a one-to-one comparison personally, but
I guess he was more or less trying to say, I don't know. I guess he was just trying to say that, you know, I mean, Warner Brothers has all these IPs, you know, that in their DC locker, and I guess I'm kind of glad to see them dipping into something besides Batman. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're getting a new Batman movie, but getting Blue Beetle and Wonder Twins, they might suck, but at least they're, hell, you gotta, you're never gonna, what is it? You're never gonna hit a home run if you don't swing the bat, you know? So I don't know.
You think so?
I don't know.
That's very, I mean, I commend you for your optimism.
Yeah.
And again, I wouldn't be so salty about any of these announcements if they were just making the thing that I want to see. The things, you know? But what are you going to do? Nothing. Okay. So Wonder Twins, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's me. That's kind of a wait and see. I'm honestly like,
could be one of those things.
I'm trying
where it's
to not be so pessimistic about it. Like we were talking about in the text earlier, you know, you're starting to see some pictures of Keaton in the bat suit now, and I should be so excited. You know what I mean? Like, and I am kind of, you know what I mean? I'm going to get to see Michael Keaton as Batman again. That'll be cool, you know, but I don't know. You know, like, I just don't know. I just don't know. I mean.
No, you don't know.
I know.
Yeah. I know. No, we've talked about it before. It is unfortunate that we have this like layer of like just bittersweetness on all of this stuff going forward. I want to get excited about it. It's just hard. It's hard to.
Yeah.
Hope it's good. So,
okay.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for DC. We did have a few Marvel things to go through. Some of these we can kind of knock out pretty quick, but it looks like Russell Crowe is going to be doing another Marvel movie. Now he's already done a role. Well, it's not come out yet, but he's already done. He's playing Zeus in Thor: Love and Thunder, and now he's going to be an undisclosed role. I believe it's undisclosed. I don't think it said who he's playing, but in Kraven the Hunter, which is a Sony joint. So likely not MCU related, but yeah, I like Russell Crowe. I was excited when they announced him in Thor: Love and Thunder, and I'm interested to see what he does with this. I haven't seen much of his offerings as of late. I didn't see Unhinged.
I didn't either.
And then I'm sure he's had other things, but I didn't see like The Mummy. I know he played Jekyll in that, but yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. I think what was it? The Good Guys, I think was the last thing that I saw him in. Him and Ryan Gosling. New Guys, not the Good Guys. New Guys.
Yeah.
Was it the New Guys? I don't remember. It was one of those. But anyway, whichever one, I enjoyed it, you know, for what it was. But
yeah, I think it was the New Guys. Oh, what is it? I know it's Shane Black. I can never. Yeah, it's like New Guys, the old guys, something guys.
I can't remember. I like most of Shane Black's stuff as well, so that makes sense.
So,
but yeah, same. I hadn't seen much else, but you know, he will forever be Jor-El, just like Dave said.
Well,
you know, he's our Jor-El.
I'm interested to see what that what the Craven movie shapes up to be. I mean, I like Aaron Taylor Johnson, so this is another peg in there for as far as positive casting goes. So
yeah,
it's a stock up for me. So and then we kind of heard a few days ago that all the Netflix Marvel stuff is being removed, and I think unless it's happened in the last day or so, I assume it's going to be on Hulu, maybe Disney Plus, and because Disney Plus has that star in different territories that shows more mature stuff. We don't have that in the States, so I don't know, because these aren't PG-13, like they're mature shows.
Yeah, these are TVMA for sure. Yeah.
So they don't really fit under that umbrella. But I know that you were doing some rewatches of these. So seems like you got it done just in time.
I finished up, I finished up Punisher. We're still not sure. I like you and I have talked about it before, and I enjoyed bits and pieces of Luke Cage. Not on a whole. I don't think it was some of the better writing. Same with Iron Fist. Jessica Jones was solid, so we may go back and watch it whenever.
I liked the first season of Jessica Jones.
I like Kilgrave. Kilgrave was a really good villain.
Man,
I liked him.
That scene when they have him in the holding cell, and he ends up controlling what's her name, the friend. I can't remember her name.
Josie.
Yeah,
that
was freaking awesome. Super tense. Yeah, I think I've talked about it before, but love Daredevil. Enjoyed Jessica Jones. Both 2 seasons of Daredevil. I didn't see season 3. Didn't care for Defenders. Didn't watch Iron Fist. Didn't watch Luke Cage. But Punisher, watched 1 season. Didn't finish season 2. So it's one of those things. And I watched, that is hard for me because I love some John Bernthal. I'm very vocal about that on this podcast. But I just couldn't. The writing was subpar.
There were elements like. We'll talk about it later, but the Pilgrim, the main antagonist, I guess. Well, the puppet of the main antagonist. I liked him. I thought he himself was a good character, but some of the other plots, this whole senator presidency, like it was pretty far fetched, as far as I'm sure there's some seedy crap that goes on, but. Behind closed doors in our government.
Keep taking those notes, Ann.
Keep on at it. But I don't know. We'll talk about it later.
Something.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You'd be the first to listen to your fans or the DC fans.
Yeah. First in that regime for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got some Moon Knight stuff, and we'll talk about the Super Bowl trailer in a little bit. But there was some Empire magazine covers that came out. I got some probably one of the better looks of the costume to the left there, and then I guess and there was also a little blurb from an interview with Oscar Isaac saying that he basically he was kind of weary of taking another role of a big studio property like this. And so, which I understand. I mean, he was pretty vocal about his experience with Star Wars and how he just didn't want to do a big franchise like that. So he was hesitant to take this, but I guess the kind of dark tone of what was pitched to him with this and the psychology of it all really intrigued him, and he felt like it was something that hadn't been done yet, at least in the Marvel realm of things. And so that kind of sold him on the series. And I'm as far as Marvel stuff, I may have even said this before, and I'll say it again. This is probably. Oops, I forgot to take this banner off. This is probably my most anticipated Marvel property coming up. So I don't know about you, but
it's definitely up there for me as well. I know we've talked about this is basically their Batman, more or less. So, and it seems like from some of the comments that we've seen that it's gonna be a little more Netflix Marvel as opposed to Disney Plus.
I hope
Marvel.
so.
So yeah, I hope so too.
Hoping they're pushing the envelope with that.
And I mean, there's a fine line that I'm okay with them bringing Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Punisher and all these other characters. I'm okay with them.
So Moon Knight's going to be on Disney Plus, Dave. Which is that's kind of what we're talking about as far as like how dark, how how
if they push that PG-13 envelope, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? It would, honest to God, it like Cal, he'll come into our room and he's like, "What are you guys watching? Are you guys watching Punisher?" You know what I mean? Like, because obviously we haven't let him watch that.
Yeah.
But if they held it on the PG-13 side but pushed it to the limit, I would be more inclined to let him join us, when we watch that stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's a fine line for me because I love some of the things that Zack's done. I love Doom Patrol. I love some of the HBO Max stuff that the kids definitely can't watch. Well, Trey watches some of it, but Cal can or Luna couldn't. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I love being able to enjoy the characters that I grew up on with my kid. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a love-hate thing for me.
Yeah. I feel you. Well, I know I'll get into that when we talk about the Lord of the Rings of Power trailer. As far as my hopes and kind of what I'm anticipating and maybe some of my concerns. And a lot of that has to do with just wanting to be able to watch it with my kids. So I hope that it's something that I can do that. Yeah. So, but yeah, excited for Moon Knight. It's not too far away, was it? It's a March release. Is that right?
Yeah.
So exciting, very exciting. All right. So moving into some Star Wars stuff, actually, Ewan McGregor had kind of made a was doing an interview and was saying that this ObiWan series is definitely going to satisfy fans, and also kind of news also came out that it's dropping May 25th, which is the actual anniversary date of A New Hope. Because a lot of people were like, I think we even talked about it being a missed opportunity for May 4th. I think that's actually when is Moon Knight premiering May 4th?
No, I think it's
not May 4th. That's kind of when it's rolling into.
It's rolling into that. And Ryan made a good point about not wanting to step on each other's toes, I guess. But
yeah,
I don't know.
So, but yeah, I mean, I know that you're probably. I don't think you are as big into Star Wars as Ryan and I are. Is that correct? No, you enjoy.
Well, I haven't. I know you don't read, but I haven't read any of the stories that Ryan has. But I've seen every movie. I've watched every Disney Plus series. I've watched the making of. I've watched majority of the Clone Wars animated stuff. I haven't watched Bad Batch yet, but I'm not. I don't know. I guess there are certain aspects of the lore that I'm not quite as proficient at as you and Ryan, but I'm in there.
Well, I'm by no means an expert when it comes to this, but I do really love and enjoy it.
My dad had all of them on cassette when I was a kid, but like I said, I grew up in a home where it wasn't an either or. You weren't a Trekkie or a Star Wars fan. My dad was both. So, so I kind of grew up on all of it. So sometimes the lines kind of blur, for me on which one's which.
Right. I get that. Well, so they also dropped this poster for ObiWan Kenobi, and it's him in Tatooine seemingly, and the kind of the small little Easter egg is that he's supposedly holding Anakin's saber, which is a cool little tidbit to include in the poster. I'm excited about this. I love Ewan McGregor's portrayal of Obi-Wan in the prequels. I think it's one of the standout things for the prequels. Even those movies have a lot of problems for me, but he's not really one of them. It's one of the better things. And I also am I'm happy that Hayden Christensen is getting another shot at this, because I think he gets a lot of hate. Not as much as Jake Lloyd, but definitely gets was it Omar? Is it Omar Best that plays Jar Jar?
Oh, Jar Jar, yeah.
They definitely get a lot of hate, but yeah, I'm excited to see him back in that role. And speaking of, there's another article that kind of detailed what Christensen's, not necessarily exactly what he's going to be doing, but they did detail that there's going to be 3 people playing Vader in this Obi-Wan series. Basically, one for any kind of saber dueling that's going to happen, one for like the more standing around gesture acting through under the hood kind of thing, and then one with Hayden to some extent. I don't know exactly how much they'll use Hayden under the helmet, kind of like they don't use what's his name from Mandalorian? I can't even think of his name right now. Pedro Pascal. Yeah. So only when they need to, when he's taking his helmet off, I doubt he's walking around in that suit.
Yeah. I doubt he's spending 8 hours a day inside of that suit. Yeah.
Yeah. But so here's the thing. I'm excited, like I said, about obviously I love sabers. So Star Wars and sabers go hand in hand. I'm excited to have a show that's going to have sabers. Coming off of Boba Fett, which was mostly lackluster, except for 2 episodes that I really enjoyed. I am excited to get back to that kind of Star Wars movie. I have, it's one of those things where you kind of have to just accept that, all right, they told this story in the original trilogy. Seemingly Vader and Anakin, aka Vader and Obi-Wan, didn't cross paths until they met again on the Death Star. They even make mention of that. So I don't know how they're going to integrate the Vader and Obi-Wan coming, face to face with each other again during that stretch of time. I feel like they'll have some sort of flashbacks with an Anakin version.
Yeah, that's my hope, I guess. Yeah.
But then again, I don't know. I really don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. A lot of people have said that we'll probably get some like back to tank Anakin, like you kind of got in Rogue One, where you see the back of, so that's the thing. Whoever they got to play Vader in that tank in Rogue One was like super beefy, big dude looking. Hayden doesn't seem to be that kind of body type to me, but I mean, there's, it's Star Wars. It's like one of those things where David Prowse wasn't that type of person really either. He's more slender. He was imposing, but not like the guy that they got to play him in that sequence. So, but any other thoughts on,
I don't know. I know we've talked about it before, and a lot of people aren't high on the prequels, but for me, Revenge of the Sith is right there in my top 2 or 3 of the Star Wars movies, and so I'm super stoked about seeing Ewan McGregor back back in the saddle as Obi-Wan. And the same as far as Christensen. You know, I think it's awesome when anybody gets another shot, especially at a character that they carried for as long as they did. You know, so I'm excited to see that. But yeah, like I said, I'm not as the Phantom Menace. You know, I didn't. You know, it was okay, and then I don't know the Revenge of the Sith. Mandy and I were just in the start of our relationship at that point in time. So
same. Not Mandy and I, but Melissa and I.
Yeah, so I was saying, hey now. No. But yeah, so it's I remember going to the theater like as a family, like my dad, because like I said, he was a huge Star Wars fan. So going with him and my mom and my sister and her husband and my brother, like we all went to go see this movie. So it'll be cool. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, same. Well, one more thing before we get out of Star Wars, it just popped up, which is Jimmy Smits is supposed to be in Obi-Wan, you know, as Bail Organa, which he did pop up in Rogue One as well, which is cool because I like Jimmy Smits, and anything that he's in, I'm all for. So he's, you know, he was in the prequels as well. And obviously he is, I guess, the only character other than Obi-Wan that knows about Luke and Leia and being separated and where they are and that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see what his involvement is in this series.
Yeah.
And how they use him rather than just having him in like a small little brief, you know, war room type scene. And then he's like, I'm going to go tell Leia about this.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, is it going to be in the time frame? Because I guess it doesn't really say how far along and how far after episode 3 that this show takes place. I haven't seen anything anyway. So we don't know if she's we don't know if she's a toddler, you know, like we don't know the age of Luke and Leia at that point, you know,
right?
Because I mean, they were infants when they split them up. So
yeah, there's a big gap. So
yeah,
I don't know. Who knows? You know, I don't know what the gap is. I assume it's 25, 30 years ish. But Brown was here. Maybe he'd know, but he's not.
Yeah.
Cool.
I didn't know how far after episode 3 the show takes place. Has anybody?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know either.
I have no clue.
We seemingly have. I think if I had to guess, it's like a 20 to 30 year gap between.
Oh, okay.
Between Revenge and A New Hope, and so they could kind of run the gamut between that, or they could put it in the middle.
We could have preteen Leia, and I can see old Jimmy dealing with a preteen daughter, you know, locking herself in a room and stuff.
Yeah,
that would be funny.
My daughter has a Goodnight Darth Vader, or no, is it Goodnight Darth Vader or Goodnight Death Star? I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Darth Vader, but it's got a lot of like Darth Vader dealing with his rowdy, rebellious
That's awesome.
Luke and Leia. And I would always, before we had watched Star Wars, I would always like skip the lines where they would call him dad and stuff like that, because I didn't want her to know that, or even like that they were brother and sister, that kind of thing. So
that's good on you. I wouldn't have even thought about that, really. We have a couple of parody books similar to that. Instead of the Very Hungry Caterpillar, we have the Very Hungry Zombie that we read to Cal as a kid. And good times.
Nice. All right. Well, last little section of news here. This is kind of like our miscellaneous news section. And kind of bringing it full circle, some Zack Snyder news. Got some casting for Rebel Moon, Charlie Hunnam, Jaimin Hansu, Ray Fisher, Bae Duna, which IMDb I think has it reversed. It's like Duna Bay or one of them. It's like I don't know, so I wasn't sure.
I've heard it both ways. I've seen it both ways. Yeah.
But yeah, so and then also in addition to this casting, we got these cool little concept art pieces. Hey, what's up, Nani?
Nani's in the house.
No apology needed. Thanks for showing up. We appreciate you. But yeah, pretty sweet art. I'm really, knowing that this was intended as a Star Wars kind of Seven Samurai movie, and now it's just going to be kind of reformatted into this new IP. There's some like Spartan elements right here with that guard. To me, it feels that way. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see, which I'm excited for because it's a whole new Zack's amazing at world building, so having him just build this new universe from the ground up, I know there's going to be so much layering that goes on with that, and so yeah, I'm stoked for it. I'm excited with this cast.
Oh yeah,
Charlie Hunnam, Jamin Hunsu, big fans of them. Everything. I mean, I've loved them and everything they do. Ray Fisher, obviously, it's good to see him back in the fold in the Snyder joint. The Bayduna, I don't really have much familiarity with her, but still, seemingly accolades look strong. So, but yeah, so it's cool that they're kind of, and then there was like this casting sheet or something that was going out that was like hinting at other like familiars from Snyder's previous cast. Henry Cavill was one of them. I can't remember who else was in there, but like, who knows if that's even, that could be just like, we're looking for a Henry Cavill type or something.
Well, I mean, with his connections and contract with Netflix, I mean, it's not too far a stretch to see him step in
for
there
sure.
at some point.
Yeah,
but I'm excited to see Ray. Like I said, I'm in the camp of Cyborg. Victor Stone was the heart and soul of that movie. I like I said, that was, as far as the Whedon interview, that's probably the dumbest thing he said through the whole thing, was that he cut his scenes because he was a terrible actor, when we all saw how good he was, So to see him get another shot and with Zack's direction behind it, I think it's going to be really cool. And I saw something about, his character's name. It's like Blood Axe or something like that,
something like that. Yeah.
So I was like, so Ray could even end up being like a villain type in the movie, it seems like. So that's interesting. So
yeah, and Dave's right. 2 movies, so shooting it back to back, which is awesome.
That's pretty cool. I like the idea of that. I'm glad that Zack's getting to do that. That's what's really cool, because I know that's something that he had, kind of had in mind, early on with the Justice League. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, exciting. So we'll see. Production should be starting up, in the next month or 2. I can't remember exactly when it starts, but it's going to be fun seeing, because Zack's pretty active on Vero, and so I'm sure he'll be showing a lot of BTS stuff. So, but yeah, so that's cool. Next little thing is just wishful thinking. Maybe you guys can contribute a little more to our Patreon, because apparently the Lord of the Rings film and video game rights are going up for sale. And I know I speak for myself. I assume Ryan, maybe even you, Alan. I don't know. We would love to have the rights to these movies, games, books, whatever it is, anything. I would love to have it. So, but now it's interesting because it's kind of coming off of the heels of, or actually it came before the trailer released for the Amazon series. And apparently that series, it's interesting how these rights work. Apparently Warner Brothers or New Line has rights to like Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and maybe the appendices. But they don't have rights to the Silmarillion and some other works, and I think that's how the Amazon series is able to do what they're doing. So it's interesting how that works. But yeah, they're apparently whoever owns them now is saying that Warner Brothers hasn't done enough with those properties to warrant them owning them as of late. And so they're looking to sell. And I think the expected price is around $2 billion, but nothing definitive just yet. But just interesting to see that it's for sale. So if anybody wants to throw us some money,
so I should say we need a few more patrons for
just
sure.
We can get there. I believe in us.
Yeah, we're not far off. We're not far off.
Yeah. And then another little cool thing, not really much to talk about, but they did announce that the War of Rohirrim anime film that's WB's putting out, and it's going to be intended to premiere in 2024. And this is actual, I assume this is just concept art of that war. So they're doing something with the rights as far as Warner Brothers is concerned. So get off their back. Actually, no, don't get off their back. Get on their back.
Stay on their back.
They're bad guys. They're not good people.
Yeah. And they hold all of the stuff that we love. You know what I mean? They hold Harry Potter. They hold the Lord of the Rings. They hold DC Comics, you know?
Yeah. They yeah. Well, the properties that they are doing stuff with, even Harry Potter, it's like, stop doing these Fantastic Beast movies. If you're gonna do something, like do the Cursed Child or something that people actually want to see.
I want to see the Cursed Child, and I think if Daniel Radcliffe is playing Weird Al Yankovic in a biopic, he would come back and play Harry Potter again. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like if he's wanting to play Weird Al, I think he would do it.
I agree. Yeah, I think he would too, for sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that anime. I'm not the biggest anime fan in terms of the animation style. I know Ryan likes anime. I don't know about yourself. Are you anime?
I am. It depends. I know that Trey, he's kind of thrown a few things my way to take a look at, you know, but yeah, I'm here. It's hit or miss with me. It just depends. I mean, honestly, I can overlook any animation style, whether I like it or not, depending on the story that comes along with it. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like with Invincible. I like the story. I just couldn't invest in the animation. It's just important to me.
Yeah.
I'll have to enjoy the animation. I just don't. So it's fine if you do, just not for me.
We know. We know.
Yeah. I have to put that preface because people get really angry when you say you don't like something they like. So I don't want to hurt people's feelings. That's not my intention. But you shouldn't get hurt by anything I say. Who cares what I say?
Anne cares. Anne's here taking notes. She cares.
She needs to care a little more, in my opinion. But and then this news just dropped like right before we went on. Star Trek is coming back with the J.J. Abrams cast, which I'm excited about because I enjoy those movies. I know you were talking about your dad being a Star Trek fan earlier. I was never a Star Trek fan until the J.J. Abrams reboot. And it's probably because, and I know a lot of Trekkies don't particularly like that, like post Abrams. I'm sure some of them do, but a lot of them felt like they Star Wars, Star Trek, and that's kind of what they did. That's why I like it. But yeah, I'm excited. They've been kicking around a few different things. I know that they were trying to make a version with Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth, because Hemsworth played his dad in the first scene of the first movie in this series. But they couldn't get contracts together. And then you had Quentin Tarantino was writing a script that I never expected. That was probably just some press thing that they were kicking around. I just can't imagine Tarantino not direct. Maybe he would have. I'm sure. Maybe he did. Maybe he wrote one. But yeah, I agree, Dave. It's good stuff
for sure.
But yeah, and then there was another guy that was attached to direct. He did that Lucy in the Sky movie, if I'm not mistaken, with Natalie Portman. I think that's the guy. Noah Hawley, I think was his name.
Oh yeah,
I think
I remember
he
hearing
was
something about
also
that.
part of the Legion show.
That's what I
So
was
he was
going to
supposed to
say. Yeah.
do a Star Trek movie. I think I could be mixing stories up. Maybe he was going to be doing Planet of the Apes. I can't remember. I'm convoluting stories at this point.
It's pretty. It's a
But
pretty.
the thing that I
Pretty
do
close
know,
storyline.
yeah, the thing that I do know now is that was it Max Schenkman who did WandaVision, also did a lot of Always Sunny stuff. A lot. It's like every episode that I watch, it's got his name as the director. He's doing this one, which is cool. I'm glad that he's getting a big property. So I really loved the yeah. See, this is the downside to this is Anton Yelchin not going to be around. So that's definitely a bummer.
And that's the thing. Like, I feel like he was so perfect in that role that I just don't know that I'd want to see anybody else in it. But if you're doing the Enterprise, it's kind of hard to not have Chekhov in it, you know? So I don't know what you do there. I really don't.
I think they just won't have him. I don't think
I hope. I honestly hope not. I hope that they'll
have a story.
They'll explain him away.
Yeah,
they'll explain him away.
I don't know if they'll kill him off. Could be too on the nose, but they'll have a story thing to where he's not there. Unfortunately,
he was pretty. I don't know that I really ever saw a movie that I didn't like him in. So he was one of those. For me, he was one of those deaths that hit hard. You know what I mean? Hollywood deaths, some are kind of hit or miss with me. You know, I can detach from some actors, but I really liked almost everything he did. You know, like I can watch Odd Thomas. I can watch that movie like any day and enjoy it every time I watch it because of who he was as an actor. I love him as an actor. Anyway.
Yeah, I never saw that one, but I obviously loved him in the Trek stuff. Green Room, I love. It's a great movie.
That's a good one.
You haven't seen it.
Charlie
and the Chocolate Factory.
No, it was him and Robert Downey Jr.
Wilson's War.
Yeah, no,
Charlie.
It was him and Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. played the principal of the school, and it was really good. But yeah,
somebody
Green
in the
Room.
Comments can let us know.
Yes, please, somebody. But Green Room. Yeah, I've watched it several times as well. But like I said, I don't think I've ever seen anything that what was the one with him and Justin Timberlake and
About Time?
No,
I don't know.
It was the true story about the drug kid back in the 90s. The kid that was that's another one too, but I don't want to give away the ending because I don't know who's seen it and who hadn't. I don't want to piss somebody off and they jump off the stream again.
Yeah. And they did one of those documentaries, kind of like they did I think it was I know they did one on like Farley and Heath Ledger, and I believe they did one on Yelchin as well, kind of going through his career. And he was really like primed to be a big deal, you know, like he was just hitting a good stride, and you know, it's a freaking crazy freak accident. Took him out. It's pretty terrible. But it'll be sad not to see him in there. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's all the news. We did it. Congratulations. Thank you. You've made it to this part. Congratulations to you guys as well. So now we get to the trailer. A lot of these trailers, I think, actually, all but one. Did the DC trailer actually pop up during the Super Bowl, or was it just
It did. But it wasn't. I don't think it was during. I think it was right before. I think it was before, during the pregame stuff. It didn't actually pop up during the movie. I mean, during the game.
All right. Well, let's start with a little lighter fare when it comes to trailers. Let me actually bump this guy down. There we go. So the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 trailer popped up. It popped up prior to the Super Bowl, but were you a fan of the first Sonic movie?
I honestly love the fact that a studio actually listened to the fans and changed his appearance from that terrible looking Sonic that they had in the first trailer. So I love the movie just because of that. I mean, honest to God, the movie itself may not be the best thing that's ever made, but I'll support.
It's enjoyable.
I'll support what. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'll support whatever they do from this point on during the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise because they actually listen to their fans. That goes a long way with me. So.
Yeah. It's funny. I was listening to an interview with John Ralphio. I can't think of his name. His real name.
I know you're talking about.
But I was listening to an interview with him, and he was talking about how he got that role. Like they just brought him in. He knew the director or whoever that was doing it. They brought him in to do some temp vocals, thinking, and he'd done this before for a bunch of different projects. Didn't expect anything to come of it, just like the other projects that he did for free, just to help friends out. And the people that were in charge of making the movie and giving the green light couldn't, like, once they were testing people for Sonic, they just kept coming back to him as far as what they preferred. And so they just offered him the role. So it's kind of a cool story. But yeah, I enjoyed the first one. I liked Jim Carrey. It was kind of a return to form with Jim Carrey, with the, super outlandish slapstick Jim Carrey that we love from the 90s. So that was great. Yeah, just a good family Sonic movie. I think it's one of the better video game adaptations. And this seems like continuation. They just, speaking of things that were just, kind of hit the Twitterverse and the internet. They already greenlit a sequel and a TV show based on Knuckles.
I think Knuckles. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I did see that.
So that's cool.
Yeah. And like you said,
Paramount,
I mean, Cal and I have sat down and watched this movie. There's no telling how many times. It's just one of those that you can put on, kind of like we talked about before. Just one of those movies. You can catch it 30 minutes in. Sit and watch the whole thing. Yeah. You can watch 20 minutes of it and get up and go do something else. You know what I mean? Like it's just a good movie.
Yeah, it's cool. And then also seemingly they actually have Idris Elba's vocal dialogue on Knuckles this time. Whereas the last one, I was like, that doesn't sound anything like Idris Elba. And I went back and watched the trailer again just to make sure I wasn't crazy. And I guess they just had temp vocals on that. And now they have Idris, in the chair, in the booth, so to speak, to do the dialogue. So, and it was cool that the series that they're doing for Paramount, they're bringing Idris for that too. So
that's
continuity. I dig that.
That's pretty neat. You got to do some stuff for your kids every now and then,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's a property that I really loved as a kid as well. And I have very fond memories. I didn't have a Sega Genesis or anything, so my friends that did, I loved going over to their house and playing Sonic. Like, that was like a treat for me because I was a Nintendo kid. But Sonic was the one that I always wished I had, that I wished was on Nintendo, but it wasn't. So, but yeah, so that's cool. I'm interested to see that. That'll be fun to see with the fam for sure. All right, and then another little ditty that we got was that DC The World Needs Heroes sizzle reel. What'd you think of that guy, Alan?
I've been big on, my stance on actors that have their passion projects, especially when, hell, you're talking almost 15 years that The Rock has been attached to this movie. You know what I mean? And he's had plenty of times to walk away from it, and he continued fighting for it. And it seems like we're finally going to get what he's been wanting all along. So for me, it goes a long way when somebody cares as much about the role. It's I like what I saw. You didn't see much. You know, you got to see some of the character teasers, you know, for
I think
others.
we got our first glimpse of The Rock as Black Adam without like the hood and all. You know, we actually got him full reveal costume, and also, you know, a lot of JSA members. In addition, as so it was cool to see. I know a lot of people. A lot of the takeaways were, you know, seeing Hawkman and Dr. Fate and Atom Smasher. So seemingly there's like, you know, the slave sequence also with Black Adam, that little seemingly flashback type sequence where he talks about his son saving him. It looked like he was a little more emaciated, not necessarily super skinny, but smaller than he is.
I was kind of hoping that they would do something, because I mean, he shouldn't be as big as The Rock is, you know, like as a beat down slave, you know what I mean? Like, no, I mean, you know, I saw the Twitter sphere, you know, lit up like, oh my God, I can't stop staring at his arms when he was doing the intro to the Super Bowl. That's all anybody could talk about. But, and so I was hoping they would do like a Steve Rogers, you know, kind of thing, like Captain America, and make him a little smaller just for that part, because I can see him still having the same facial features because he's already an adult when he becomes the champion. Yeah. But, you know, he can't be that big all the time. You know what I mean? So I'm glad they're going to go there. Or it appears they're going to go that way with it.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, in addition to Black Adam, because that was probably the most footage we got was mostly Black Adam stuff. And then a lot of recycled footage of the Flash from that DC fandom tease. But I guess the other shot that was new was that straight on, you know, Flash cowl, whatever you want to call it, mask with the lenses that pop up. I saw a lot of people like, oh, it's cool they have like a practical thing, because, you know, like when you run, you would get like stuff in your eyes. Or, but when they also be on your suit, when they be everywhere, if if you're trying to come up with a practical reason for having lenses, if that's what the reasoning is, I don't care. It's one of those things. Like I think this so far, the suit's okay. I think it's a downgrade personally. You would think that Barry's prototype suit that he built himself wouldn't be better looking and cooler than the one that he built with Wayne Tech. Yeah. But I'll hold out final judgment until I see the movie. But right now I'm like,
well, that's me. And I mean, we still, even in the limited footage that we've seen, we haven't actually seen a good shot of the suit. Like, we saw some weird fisheye lens in the Batcave. We saw a poorly lit shot in front of what I'm assuming is his mom's and his home as a kid, you know, when he travels back in time. And so we really don't know what we're getting yet. And I mean, I don't know, kind of like you, I'm going to reserve judgment, at least until I see something a little better in a trailer. But I did see flashes of, no pun intended, I did see flashes of his cowl from Zack's Justice League costume. You know, you could see the hard lines coming down his head, you know, that looked very similar to that, you know, bicycle helmet style, you know, that he had. You know, so there were elements of it there, and the you know, the tracing along his nose was very similar. It's just super shiny, you know. So I don't know. There are things about it. I'm just not sure. But I did like that straight on shot where the lenses came in to focus, you know, where the lenses popped up. I did like that better than I did any of the other shots we'd seen of his mask so far. It looked a lot more form-fitting in those shots than the Lego helmet that we saw in the others. So
I agree with you there for sure. And then I guess we also got some Aquaman, like a few, like maybe 2 Aquaman shots, Lost Kingdom shots.
Much.
I think one of him on like this rock structure, mountainous type structure with the stealth suit, as it's been named by Juan, I believe. And then him on the throne with the suit that he gets at the end of Aquaman.
That was pretty badass. So, I like the throne shot. That's super regal looking. So I like that.
Yep, the Conan shot, as Zack would call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also the Batman, because those are the 4 feature like theatrical movies coming out this year, other than DC League of Super Pets. They didn't highlight that one, but I am excited for that one personally.
Me too.
So,
me too.
And then I guess Batgirl also seemingly is coming out 2022, but it's still shooting. So
and it's actually not. It's not going to be a feature, is it? It's going to be an HBO Max.
No, it's HBO
right?
Max.
Okay.
As far as I know, there was one movie that I remember seeing that
Blue Beetle has been pushed to theaters instead of HBO
that
Max.
Was the one. Yeah. It's good that you're here.
Yeah, there we go.
And then, all right. So, anything else with that sizzle?
No,
the Batman.
Well, I mean, there was nothing much there to go.
The Batman is, I kind of gloss over when I see the Batman because I don't really want to retain any. This movie's almost out, so I'm trying not to look at much. So, but seemingly from other people that I've heard, it's mostly the same footage they've seen in trailers. So
there was a lot of stock stuff they've already used in multiple trailers. So,
yeah, cool. And then my favorite trailer that dropped lately, Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power. I am very excited about this trailer. I'm super interested to see what they do. I'm always weary of like the prequel type show, but and it seems like they're going to be injecting characters that probably wouldn't have been mainstays throughout this period, but they want to have some sort of relation. Like, I think in the actual writing, Tolkien's writing, these characters kind of come and go, and they don't have like throughput characters to where it's like a mainstay. Like this character is in this story for hundreds of years because it kind of jumps along. And I think that's going to happen in this story from what I read, but the audience needs a surrogate character to latch onto. And so they had to kind of fudge things in terms of, to make it adaptable, which is honestly the problem that I had with Foundation, which is it jumps so much and I couldn't find a character to really latch onto. I just lost interest. Because it spanned so much time. So Dave's asking about Lord of the Rings. Definitely watch them. In my opinion, and I think a lot of people share this opinion, you got to go extended edition. That's just the way to go, especially for Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit is not as imperative to watch extended. It's more like to me, the Hobbit extended stuff is like, I can see why you cut this. But with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, it's definitely worthwhile.
Yeah, and to quote Dave Chappelle, how much time you got, brother? Like, I mean, you're gonna take a weekend watching those extended editions, but they're well worth it. So I'm on the same train. Like you definitely should watch the extendeds.
Yep. For sure. But I mean, seems like we see kind of right off the bat. There is a like a shot of a kind of like, I can't remember the name of this city, but it's basically Tolkien's version of Atlantis. It's like a technologically advanced city that was kind of lost, at some point in time. There's a very like similar like statue to the like Argonath statues that they on the river that they go through in the Fellowship. There's the two like kings of old statue in the background. You can see that first one. I texted around. I was like, did I spot an Argonath statue? And he was like, maybe, I don't know. And then I looked at it. I was looking at it on like Twitter, so it was very grainy. But when I looked at the high res version, it was a different character. So, but still cool to see. I mean, some returning characters, like I mentioned, Galadriel, Elrond, and then Sauron will play a role to some extent, obviously, with, if it's Rings of Power, then, that's going to come into play towards the end, I imagine. Yeah, and then this shot specifically, and the little girl that kind of has the dialogue at the beginning is apparently a Harfoot, I believe. It's not a new, but it's a Hobbit, like an early ancestor of the Hobbits. And I think they're more like woodlings, like they live off the land essentially, instead of where hobbits are more having like civilizations in Hobbiton, and they're a little more civilized. The Harfoots are more like wildlings, so to speak.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, man, I mean, and then you have a new elf character, so a little bit of elf action in there. Catches a arrow, mid-flight, fires it back like the elves do. I'm into that. Scale looks great, beautiful, obviously shot in New Zealand, so that you kind of have to. If you're gonna make a Tolkien adaptation, you got to shoot in New Zealand. It's like it's become like the location that you have to do if you're gonna do something like that. But yeah, I am very excited for this. I mentioned this earlier. I really hope that Amazon isn't trying to use this as a competitor in terms of thematic material to Game of Thrones. There's obviously parallels there. George R. R. Martin, his name is it's a pen name based on Tolkien. The RR is his homage to Tolkien, and so like his books are obviously heavily inspired, but they're obvious, as they're very mature. And I hope that in the world of this, all these studios trying to get the next Game of Thrones, that they aren't trying to use Lord of the Rings and try and make some mature, sexualized version of a material that isn't intended to be that. And that's really my only worry with it. Because Tolkien wouldn't have wanted that. It's not something that he was about. And I want to watch this with my kid. So I hope that I can do that. I hope I'm fine. No, it's weird. I'm fine with violence. Don't care. Yeah. I'm not ready for that conversation with my kid. Yeah. So that's there. Something they should have to wait to see. But yeah. Do you have any thoughts about this trailer? I know I just talked a bunch.
Oh, dude, you have no idea how glad I am that you took that one and ran with it, because I can sit and talk Star Wars all day long. I'm familiar with a lot of the lore for that, but as far as Lord of the Rings, I was really hoping. I know Nani apparently is pretty well versed in that world, but besides, I mean, I have the extended editions and I've watched them, and I have the Hobbit series and I've watched those. I don't know as much about the lore and the mythology behind it. So yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of this is stuff that I'm not as familiar with, because it's all it's all like I said, it's all like Silmarillion and other it's all background stuff and a lot of notes and things like that. But and they make mention of a lot of this stuff. So and that's the thing. I'm not a book reader. I don't read, period. So I am a movie only fan, but I love this franchise. So I tried to get David to come on tonight to speak on this, because he is a huge Tolkien fan, but he was busy. So unfortunately, he wasn't available. But
yeah, Dave kind of shares the sentiment. Let's not turn it into adult themed stuff here. No, I don't want to have that conversation either, because Cal loves watching this stuff with me. So
yeah. It's hopefully the estate, whoever greenlit this, it's like, Bond. They have these rules for that character. They have, you have to abide by this. And I just hope that they have something in place to where it's like, let's keep it Like it's been, keep it like the source material. It's a family. It's. I mean, The Hobbit, especially, is a children's book. Lord of the Rings is a little more mature, but it's not mature in terms of like overuse of like sexual themes and things that I just not ready to introduce to my kid. So
that's right.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, trailer looks great. Looks like it's, they're putting the money into it like they said they were and was reported. So it looks beautiful. And yeah, got a little cave troll shot or some sort of troll shot in there and some other quick little glimpses of some of the action. But yeah, I am that was my takeaway of the new trailers. It is that's the high point for me. I've watched it quite a few times now. So
yeah, I've watched it a few times because, like I said, it's an intriguing trailer for me because I'm like, I don't have a clue what's going on. Like, I'm just like, there's so much that's happened in that 2.5 minute span that I'm just like, holy hell, I don't know what I'm fixing to watch, but I'm excited for it. So
and that's the thing that I think there is going to be a lot of stuff going on, and that's what I hope they're able to rein in. And I think it's smart. I'm sure that book purists and Tolkien purists will have an issue with them. It's kind of like they did with The Hobbit when they created Tauriel to have a female character because there just wasn't any in that book really. They're like, this it's made up character, whatever. Had issue with that, but I think similarly with this, it's like you do need to have a mainstay. You need to have someone to latch onto, because if you just got a couple characters, you got them for a couple episodes and they're gone, and then you got to have new characters to invest in and get to know, and you need a thorough line of a character that you're going to be able to stick with. So I think it's smart, and I don't, I'm one of those people to where, and it's probably, I can say this because I don't read books, but I'm not the kind of person that's like, the book is automatically going to be better, because the book is the foundation, but it doesn't mean it's the best version of any story. It could be improved upon, I think. And if you have something that, especially when it comes to adapting something to the screen versus something playing out in the written word. So
yeah, I'm kind of torn on the whole book thing. I read the entire series of Unfortunate Events book series, and then when the Jim Carrey movie came out, I don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the movie. I thought Carrey was great as Count Olaf in the movie, but it kind of ruined that part for me. I was like, oh my God, this isn't even close to how it was in the books. Like it threw me off. And I always joked about Mandy with the Harry Potter films. She would, while we're in the theater, she'd go, that's not how that happened. And I'm like, well, it's what it's what I'm liking, or whatever. But that, and then I read Ernest Cline's Ready Player One, and then when the movie came out, it is like nothing at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the movie, but it is absolutely nothing like the book, and I love the book too. So I don't know. I could give some of that.
I give the movie a little bit of a pass because of rights to the things that they would have needed. But I mean, I feel you.
Yeah. So I'm like you. There's certain parts for me. I enjoy reading certain things. Like I said, I read comics, but there's so many iterations of those characters that I'm probably never going to see the version that I've seen in the comics, on any of them. So, that's safe, but like the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit series, those movies, as far as I'm concerned, they're great. I might change my opinion if I read the book. So I'm like, nope, never reading those. So there we go.
Yeah. Word. So yeah, we'll see. September 2nd, I believe, is when that drops. So, and it's episodic, and I can't wait. That's going to be amazing. I can't wait to have a Lord of the Rings series ongoing. That's as excited as I get to watch these Star Wars properties week to week, it's just a fun, or even the Marvel stuff. It's like, oh, there's the new episode is out. It's cool to to have something like that. We live in a great time in history to be able to have that in our lives, and so even despite some of the issues that I may have with Boba Fett, it still was cool to be like, oh yeah, there's a new Boba Fett out today. especially after they had the great Mandalorian centric episodes. It was something I like looking forward to a show instead of binging something. I like being like right now, I have Righteous Gemstones every Sunday, and that's just like, oh yeah, Sunday night, Righteous Gemstones, can't wait. So that to have that in Lord of the Rings is going to be amazing for me. So try not to get my hopes up too much, but based on the trailer, based on the things I've read, it's all pointing to good things. So, all right. Let's see. One of the other trailers that we mentioned this earlier. Moon Knight they had a little Super Bowl spot. And I'm a sucker for good cape action. Cape porn, as they say. And this is another one of those shots. I was like, it's a cool shot.
Oh yeah.
But I mentioned this earlier. I'm excited. I'm stoked for this show. And I definitely gravitate towards a darker tone when it comes to any kind of movie show. That's my jam. Especially something like this. It's like psychological. And Oscar Isaac, for one, I've never watched anything with Oscar Isaac in it where he doesn't show up. And so him in a like a Egyptian Batman themed role is like just right up my alley. So
yeah.
So the short little, it's like 30-second, teaser, so to speak.
But I love the music that they have attached to it. It's the same music from the original trailer, The Day and Night. Like that song. The cut of that song. That it works really well. And the way, like, similar to a Batman when his cape flourishes, when he's falling, and it looks like a bat. To see this image here, and it looks like that crescent, the moon shape. It's just so badass, man. And kind of like you with Barenthal, I'm Oscar Isaac. That's my guy. You know what I mean? Like I love watching him and stuff. He's been great in pretty much anything I've ever seen. Even if the movie itself wasn't amazing, his character was. He made the best out of any role he's ever had. So yeah.
Yep, for sure. Maybe not Apocalypse. But we don't talk about Apocalypse. But no, I agree. And I love the accent. I love having him in this accent. I don't know what this accent is, but it's cool. I dig it. So
me too.
And then we had the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness trailer. I guess the first quote unquote trailer was more of a sneak peek tease, I guess. It's tacked on to Spider-Man No Way Home. This is the first, kind of official trailer, if you want to call it that. What you think about this trailer? I'll let you go first.
I know we kind of hit on it a little bit in the group chat the other day, but this should have been trailer 1. This should have been the first footage that we saw. I mean, it was so much better than that little attached teaser thing. The only thing that when they released the teaser from the end of No Way Home, when they released it online, the following week, they actually attached the Marvel logo that cut through the 20 plus years of Marvel logos, as it rolled through. You saw some of the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, you saw all the Spider-Man, you saw all those logos tied in, kind of shattered in. They didn't do that this time, and that one kind of bummed me out. But there was so much that you could dissect from it, from Professor Xavier, who was obviously in it. We all heard his voice, and then what some people have pointed out to be Mr. Fantastic sitting in a chair, and the Illuminati seemingly confirmed, so it's just
those robots seem to be Stark,
the Iron Sentinels, so, and possibly Tom Cruise's Tony Stark, like that's like I am like, and don't get me wrong, Cruise is a wackadoo, but you know what I mean, like just to see this a variant version of Tony Stark, that's going to be cool to me. And I don't know. It got me much more excited for the movie than I was initially for sure.
Yeah, same. I agree. I mean, I think this is definitely stock up. I am leaning towards the idea that they are holding back, similarly to how No Way Home kind of held their cards close to the vest. And I don't know how that's going to work out for this movie. It worked out well with Spider-Man, but
well, you had the nostalgia there for a lot of the Spider-Man stuff, where
yeah,
I mean,
because you already had
X-Men,
the villains,
and the X-Men and possible Fantastic Four tie-ins. That's fine. That's all well and good.
Well, I'm just saying, like, on a mainstream level, not this like geekdom that we live in this bubble. Because
that's what I mean. I'm excited about the possibility of seeing Tom Cruise play a role that he was kind of looked at, pretty heavy for the role of Tony Stark. So it's fun to me to see that version, but I don't expect everybody to be excited about that.
No, you shouldn't expect anybody besides people like us to even know that that's a possibility of showing up. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what the hype level mainstream is going to be based on these trailers, because there's not a lot of like general audience teases that they're going to get here. Like, there's not a lot of blatant. I don't even think general audiences would even recognize the Xavier dialogue, like as Xavier, unless they read an article on the internet.
I actually didn't catch it till the next viewing of the trailer. Like, it took two run throughs before I recognized his voice. So
yeah, but I am excited for the movie. I enjoyed the first Doctor Strange a lot, and I like Sam Raimi, so I hope that he delivers on this. Even though I like his older stuff, not so much his newer stuff.
And you saw some of those horror vibes to the trailer for sure.
Yeah. So, we'll see. We'll see how. I mean, that one is May, so not too much longer.
May the 6th.
So yeah. Cool. Anything else to add on that one?
No, just the trailer. I mean, not the trailer. There's people that were picking apart the poster. And you saw Captain Carter's shield and possibly Deadpool in one of the other shots. Like, there's so much.
There was a lot of articles about Rob Liefeld saying that they reported it like he was saying Deadpool is in there, but he was just saying that Fox characters are going to be in there, not necessarily Deadpool. But I feel like it's a good chance.
That's what I was going to say. I think it'd be a perfect opportunity. A crazy movie like this would be, if you were going to try to put that fourth wall breaking character in, this would probably be the one to do it in. You know what I mean? Like, when you're rolling through universes.
Somebody pointed out that there's a little glimpse of an animated universe that kind of pops up in one of those little sequences. Like, you can see it like peeking through the portal. So maybe some people think that it could be like the X-Men, like, the animated
90s
show.
The 90s X-Men, yeah.
Or, I mean, maybe even, we talked about the Into the Spider-Verse crossover type stuff last week, I think. So maybe something like that. Who knows? I don't know if that would be the case just because of the Sony connection. I feel like they wouldn't try and play ball with Sony again to include that, but maybe they would. Who knows? But yeah, so we'll see. Stock up. So Dave was asking about Deadpool and the Phantom Zone.
The mirrored, I have no idea. The possibilities for the characters that they could bring into this are, especially, well, for Deadpool, he's going to be a member of the MCU. They've already said he's going to be at some point, but the possibilities are endless as far as the one-shot stuff, like bringing back these characters for one big movie. Like, I mean, they could, especially considering some of the earlier actors aren't doing nearly as much now. So for them to have an opportunity to jump into a Marvel movie, I don't think there'd be any shortage of most of those people.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Let's see. So watches of the week. You got a few still. You're I guess Peacemaker is almost done. I think what 7th episode just dropped.
Yeah.
And
So
you are our resident Peacemaker watcher. So any thoughts on the latest episode and any kind of anticipation going into the finale for yourself?
Okay. So a couple of things. I know I've seen a lot of stuff online about White Dragon's costume looking. I know Ryan said at one point it looked very 90s Power Ranger-ish. I guess something for me, because if you've seen any parts of the show, there's been no shortage of really cool shots, and there's been a lot of great CG work in it as far as the butterflies go and some of that stuff. So I believe it was 100% intentional that his suit looked like crap, because this guy in the flashbacks, he was living in a trailer park with a Tennessee top hat, like glorious mullet, and if this guy's driving a two-tone Camaro riding around, chances are he'd think that his suit looked pretty badass when everybody else in the world would think it looked like crap. You know what I mean? So for me, it plays to the character, so I don't mind the look of that suit, because Vigilantes is about as comic book accurate as any character I've ever seen in the MCU thus far. So I don't think it was anything other than Gunn wanting White Dragon to look cheesy looking when he created that costume, when they created that costume. But
yeah,
on a whole, it was good. It had some really good moments. The episode did. Like I said before, it's right up there with the writing for the Suicide Squad and the vision of that movie, as far as the show goes. So, it's below Zack's stuff, but it's far better than most of the other outings that DC's put out, so it's another solid episode for sure.
What are you anticipating for the finale? Like, are you excited for it? Or like, what's your like barometer for this show? Or are you just?
I have no idea where they're going to go. I mean, to be honest, this whole alien invasion thing could be setting up something for a movie later on. I'm not sure, because there's a lot of stuff to wrap up. It could either end on a very big cliffhanger, or, it could get tied up in a really crazy hella gunfire, kind of moment. So I'm not sure what to expect from it. I know that Gunn has seemingly confirmed season 2, like it's definitely happening. And it seems to be a pretty popular show. For the most part, it's all been positive. So I'm interested to see where they go. I have no my barometer's all over the place on this finale. I have no idea what's going to happen with it. I really don't. Like I
know a lot of people
I don't know.
Seem like I think Gunn or somebody had been hinting that the finale was going to be like, a Twitter worthy, like people will talk essentially, like there's going to be some sort of reveal or some character pop up, or that's the vibe that I got. Again, I'm not watching the show, so I don't know what that could even be, but yeah.
So I mean, and I really don't either. They haven't really opened the door up, I don't feel like, for any major characters. I guess maybe another member of the Suicide Squad could show up in it, possibly. I'm not sure, but as far as the mainstay, like the Trinity or something like that, nobody like that's going to show up in it. And like I said, I still say it's worth a shot. I know some people don't feel that way, but it's I don't know. I mean,
I'm not saying it's
like
worth a shot I have no interest in watching the character. I just don't like it. So
they I don't know. There were some reveals in the episode about his childhood and his brother.
Blah blah blah.
That were pretty good. That were pretty good. There was some good stuff in it.
I don't want to feel sympathetic for him. I don't care.
It doesn't really. Like I said, they're not trying to make you. I don't think they're ever trying to make you feel sympathy.
Yeah, they are.
As much as it is understand. You know, there's a difference between you can understand where somebody's coming from.
Yeah.
Or understand the reason they are the way they are. You know, like that kid that you grew up with that was an ass like your whole life, and then come to find out he was getting the crap beat out of him at home or whatever. You know what I mean? It doesn't make you feel sorry for him. It's just, you know, okay, that's why he is the way that he is. So I really feel like
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Dave thinks he's Superman showing up for his poop joke, the payoff.
Could be.
I got wind of that joke. I don't know.
Yeah. And well, what's funny is, you know, a lot of the stuff that Peacemaker said about members of the league or whatever, he talks about Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Batman. Mm-hmm. They at one point they're like, where did you hear this from? And he was like, Google. He's like, so you believe everything you read on Google? He's like, yeah, why wouldn't I? You know, so like he knows nothing about any of these characters. It's all completely made up.
Yeah. Well, Nani's on board with you.
Yeah, so and I'm glad she is. Like I said, it's for me, it's on par with anything else James Gunn's made. I mean, it's to me, it's as good as Guardians and the Suicide Squad. So there's plenty of other characters to get attached to on the show besides Peacemaker for sure. But
yeah. Okay.
Vigilante's pretty awesome in it. I kind of hope that he sticks around. I hope he doesn't die in the finale. That's my only hope for the finale is please don't let Vigilante die. I've enjoyed that character.
Well, find out next week if he does.
I will keep everybody.
Was there Friday release? When did they release it?
It comes out Thursday.
Thursdays.
That's most of their DC content comes out on Thursdays. So yeah.
Gotcha.
I will be watching it.
Right on. And then I guess you finished season 2 of Punisher, you said?
We did. It was, like I said, this is my rewatch. And I mean, we finished it at like 11:30 last night. Nani's with me on Vigilante though. She hopes he makes it. But no, the Punisher, man, there were moments in season 2. I know we talked about it earlier that were sloppy, poor writing, but there are still those comic book moments that you just you can't. DC, it's rare that DC's matched it. Zack has put some stuff out that's looks like it was ripped from a page, but you know, Barenthal walking in and mowing down, 30 gang members that he trapped into coming there, and he's just standing there doing that Punisher scream with his, with
can't protect her, Rick. Can't protect her. You got a weak boy, Rick. Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's it. That's what he said.
Oh wait, different show.
Made get so pissed at me because I'm going, whoa.
Yeah.
But he just destroys this whole room full of guys, and it's God. He's so perfect for that role, dude. And I know that he wants to continue, if they'll do it the right way. So, but he, man, he's awesome. So it ended on such a high note that I overlooked like almost every shortcome that season 2 had. That moment, the last shot of season 2 was just him, like I said, him with that throaty growl, mowing guys down, and that's it. Then the credits, so it was freaking awesome, man. I loved it. And just the zero remorse, on that was the biggest thing for season 2 for me, was him coming to that realization that, it looked like there for a little while they were going to try to rewrite who he was, and he was going to start showing sympathy and letting people get away and stuff like that. And then he had that clarity in season 2 where he's like, no, this is who I am. You can't do this. I can, and that's who I'm always going to be. Like, he just has that moment where he snaps into it, and he's just, okay, I'm going to go kill these guys because you guys won't do it. This is what has to be done, and I'm the one who's going to do it. What does he say? I'm not the one who does the dying. I'm the one who does the killing. You know what I mean? Like it's perfect. I mean, they couldn't have cast that role any better than what they did.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Yeah, I wish the beginning of that season was stronger than it was, because maybe I would have stuck with. Well, I would have stuck with it for sure, but I just lost interest.
There are so many. The last episode of season 2, the payoff as far as him just cleaning house, taking care of everybody that needs to be taken care of. It's just perfect. I mean, like I said, zero remorse. It's not like he hesitates for a second when he pulls the trigger, and it just, God, it's awesome. I don't know.
Nice. That's good.
Yep. Great. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff.
And then you said you started Batman the Animated Series.
Yes. Yes, I did. I am doing a deep cut rewatch, I guess. This is my lunch break series. Like if I'm like in my office or in my car, I'll go to a fast food place down the street and grab a burger, and I'll sit in my car and I'll like prop my phone up in the visor and put in my AirPods, and I will watch an episode that's about a lunch break, is watching an episode. Then I'll get back to work. So nice. Yeah, it's been fun. I know that Scott and the guys over at DC Squadcast, they do rundown. They have a podcast dedicated to this. So
Film Junkie.
Yeah, so I enjoy theirs. So it kind of got me wanting to go back into it. So
that's cool.
Yep.
Nice. Very cool. I guess the only other thing that we have to talk about is Boba Fett.
Yes.
Which is really the only thing that I watched this week, geek related. And that is the season finale of Boba Fett. I touched upon this briefly on CiNEMACHiNE last Thursday. So I'll let you lead with your thoughts on Boba Fett, and then I'll kind of chime in after.
I know it seemed to have caught a lot of flack, as far as being there's a lot of action, but not a lot of substance in the episode. But all in all, I thought it was another solid episode. I thought it was another solid show. I thought it was a good finale. Had some really epic moments in it, and I don't know. There was a lot of Star Warsy stuff in it,
Yeah.
I mean, I have my issues, Cad Bane. I
waste.
Yeah, that it just I had said time and time again, like when I had heard they were bringing him in, I was like, oh, he'll be around for a while. They're not getting rid of him not quickly anyway. So that one bothered me.
Forgiven them more and been okay if it had been him that they showed in the back to tank at the end instead of the Marshal, which I just don't care about. Yeah. I like Timothy Olyphant, but the character is nothing to me. I don't, I
love him. He's one of those two where I love him in just about everything he's in, but I was just, this was Raylan Givens, in space, that was his role as the Marshal. So
yeah,
I've seen that. I watched several seasons of it on Justified, so I didn't need to see it again. But I on the whole, a good 7.5, for the episode for me. It definitely had its shortcomings, but I don't think there was a way for them to tie all of those loose ends and do it in a way that was going to make everybody happy. Like there was a lot of stuff going on in that episode. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Cal, I will say though that Cal's
he did write it, Dave.
Yeah, he did.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry about that, man. Cal's ADD kind of prohibits him from watching a lot, like all the way through. He comes and goes through episodes of whatever show that we're watching or whatever movie. But he sat down with me and Mandy and watched every single second of that episode. So, it couldn't have been too bad if it held his attention the whole time, because nothing holds that kid's attention.
Word. I think that's probably telling, not necessarily for good or for bad, but I think I agree with you. It did have a lot of fan servicey Star Wars moments, mainly the showdown, like with Mando and Boba back to back taking on, everyone, and then specifically Boba riding the Rancor was cool to see. The rules with that kind of like it felt like, like at one moment they're, they're shooting, like I think Mando tries to shoot fire from his arm at him. It doesn't affect him, and then was it Cad Bane does, and then he runs away or something. I can't remember how that works. That's like it's circumstantial. Like, oh well, this is we need it to go away, so now it's going to affect him. That stuff always bugs me. But I don't know. I have so many issues with this series in terms of the Boba Fett-ness of it. I just felt like it was kind of a meh, nothing show except for the 2 Mando-centric, Grogu-centric episodes, which were cool, but mostly unrelated to this show.
Yeah.
I didn't. And it's unfortunate because I should, like we're talking about with the Keaton stuff, I should be stoked for this. It was just disposable, and I don't want Star Wars to be disposable. I need more than just like fan servicey stuff. I think a lot of the fan servicey stuff would be better received on my end if it was earned and not just, especially like, especially even the episode that I liked, the Luke and Grogu and all that. That episode was a lot of that, and I think I talked about how it came across a little bit disingenuous because there wasn't a lot of build up to it, especially like reuniting Grogu with Mando, and there was no time to miss him. Like we needed more time to miss those characters together.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, it was awesome to see that he chose Mando and and all that. That was all cool stuff, and agreed. I agree. The fan service side, I love that Star Warsy stuff, but it would have been great if it had been peppered into a well-written series. And for me, it just really wasn't. I mean, on a whole, the story of this series just was me. I mean, it was.
Yeah, it just and it didn't like. I didn't really. That's the thing. That's what my whole reservation about like prequel stuff. I didn't care to see Boba with the Sand People. It didn't really add much. And it was just boring to me. There wasn't a lot of like cool badass moments with Boba that I can even think of besides the Rancor thing. And by the time it got there, I was just like, all right, like I just and again, I have major issues with this injection of this new aesthetic that doesn't match the Star Wars aesthetic with these like biker gangs and these candy coated speeder bikes and the tattoo parlor modification droid shop and like all this stuff that I know that the like spin move from the budget cyborg actor like got a lot of grief, but it's pretty. I mean, it's a bad shot. I don't care if it is an homage to like classic like Rodriguez type shots. It's just terrible. It's not well done.
Well, Mandy was like he was dodging a shot when he did that, and I was like,
who cares?
I was like, it still looked terrible. I mean, whether or not he was dodging a shot, that's cool, but they didn't have to use.
It just
was that goofy. The best take of that exchange?
Yeah.
It just didn't make any sense to me.
It was just goofy.
Yeah,
just came across goofy.
Yeah, it did. And like I said, there were characters in the show that I liked, that I'd like to see, brought in to the universe a little more. But on a whole, it's just very poorly. I don't know, and that's bad to say that because Star Wars is usually pretty pretty spot on, you know, and this one just fell flat, you know.
Rodriguez directed like what 2 episodes of this show. I don't remember the other directors besides
Bryce Howard. Yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard doing the Mando centric one, which was the best one in my
By
opinion.
far.
But like, even we talked about this on CiNEMACHiNE, but even like just the alien characters, like they should have just had them talk in an alien dialect or in a language that with subtitles instead of having just regular sounding people with the cool looking alien that had the like modulator thing that just spoke like a normal dude. Like I would have just rather hear him talking in his alien voice, language, whatever, and read some subtitles. It would feel like Star Wars. Same thing with like I don't know what they're called. The people with the like tentacle hair. They were too modern. Like too many modern sensibilities for Star Wars for me. And that's just, you know, I don't know. That's why I'm like, how did again, I'm kind of repeating myself if you tuned into CiNEMAChiNE, but I don't understand why Filoni and Favreau it got through their like checkpoint, you know, like I just feel like, but maybe this is, I mean, obviously they produced it. I'm sure they were heavily involved. Filoni directed the episode with Grogu and Luke. So
yeah,
whatever. I don't know. Yeah, overall, kind of a wash of a show, even though it had 2 really good episodes that were I still have issues with, but enjoyed overall, but just wished they were built up so that they would feel more paid off than just continual fan servicey moments. Because that's at the end of the day, especially that Filoni, Luke and Grogu centric episode. That one definitely felt a little like just random and super rushed to get to that point.
Yeah, like I said, I love the episode, but it just felt, I mean, it honestly felt like a way to get people to hang on to make it through the show.
Yeah.
That's really what it felt like to me.
That this whole show at the end of the day just felt like, all right, we're dealing with COVID. We got to put out something. Let's use this technology. Let's use these assets that we already have for Tatooine in the volume, you know, the technology that they used to make Mando. And let's just crank out a Boba Fett show while we're waiting for things to get back to normal so we can actually make a real show. So,
looks that way.
Know. That may not have been the case, but it kind of just felt like that. It just felt disposable and unintended. But I don't know. Still doesn't make my excitement wane any for Obi-Wan because Deborah Chow's directing that, and she had some of the stronger episodes of Mando. So, or she's the showrunner. She may not be directing all episodes, but
maybe she'll have a heavy hand in it anyway. So,
any physical media on your end?
Actually, my normal comic book day was spent, you know, doing Valentine's stuff with the bride. So, no, I did not buy anything this week. I did buy Cal some Funko stuff, but you know, I didn't bring it up here with me.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but he no longer wonders how Alita 2 got greenlit.
Yeah.
Well, I guess didn't get greenlit. That's the thing, though. I really like Alita.
I like that movie. Yeah, I did too.
Rodriguez is an interesting nut to crack, like or a hard nut to crack. Like he does these some really great theatrical stuff, and then he'll do like Spy Kids or We Can Be Heroes or any of these like.
And I mean, and even those things, he's got a purpose behind them. He's doing things that he knows his kids will be able to watch, and you know what I mean. That's all for his kids. But it seems like when he's left alone in his sandbox and gets to do his thing, he puts out some really good stuff. But when you're trying to confide him to to the Star Wars walls, you know, it's. You know,
I mean, I thought his Mando episode was pretty strong.
Yeah, I did too.
It was mostly just action. It wasn't a lot of story.
That's what I was going to say. It felt very Rodriguez. You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Anyway, you were saying comic book day, Valentine's.
Yeah, I just didn't. We went, picked up a few things. Cal got the Trevor Funko Pop inside the Ecto One, the bigger rides Funko. We got him that for Valentine's Day, and I went and picked him up a couple other ones that he doesn't know about yet, but can't really show them off because he'll end up watching it. But
gotcha.
Yeah, let's see here. Dave's got a physical media purchase.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. So is that the Donner cut 3 hour, or what is that?
I think that's what he's referring
to.
Yeah, the Donner cut is Superman 2, but the Superman 1, the 3 hour cut for TV. I did actually get a chance to. I learned that the Ghostbuster collector's edition set that we got comes with the TV cut of Ghostbusters 1, where they remove the Dickless line from it. So I'm like, well, we got to go watch that now just to see what they use, because it's something. I can't remember what they say, but it's not even close. Like they basically call him a mean name, and Walter Peck or whatever. So I got to go back and watch that. But
TV cuts.
Ryan.
Love the TV cuts. Oh, look at this guy. You gonna pop him up there?
I got it. I got you.
Okay. He's so glad to hear that. Super stoked to hear it. The Hawks are beating the Cavs. That's great. It's very great. Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for updating me.
Enjoy. I almost spoiled that for you, Ryan, but I'm glad that I didn't. I'm glad you were able to have your little surprise date night. So
yeah, I texted Alan today. I was like, so Katie's surprising Ryan with Hawks tickets. Feel free to spoil that for him and pay him back for spoiling your surprise birthday party.
I guess I'm just a better friend. I don't know.
It's true. You are. Okay, gotcha.
There we go. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Interesting.
I'll check that out.
Very cool. I didn't get any physical media. No, did not. I did not. But oh well, Ryan, he keeps popping up in our chat. It's just it's distracting. I don't like it. It's like when Al shows up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess the only other thing we can kind of is the same thing as the previous couple of weeks, but same lineup for coming soon. Batman is obviously the next one up to bat, as Ryan would say. Sports reference. Be proud, Dad. But yeah, actually have tickets to the March 1st IMAX screening of the Batman. So
nice.
Excited for that. But yeah, so then we'll bump that one out, and whatever comes in its place. I don't even remember at this point. So maybe a DC movie. We got all mostly Marvel movies right now. I can find out real quick for you what that will be. It is Thor: Love and Thunder. That's July 8th. I don't know when
I'm going to try to go see the Batman on opening weekend. It just depends. Got to go to Home Depot. Don't know if I'll have enough time.
Beyond.
Don't know if I'll have enough time.
I get it. Cool. Well, listen, Alan called you. People call you Al in chat.
It is what it is.
Throws me off. I appreciate you showing up. Unlike some people get surprised with sports tickets and they abandon you, and you did not, sir. And I appreciate you. But and for everybody that showed up in the chat, appreciate you as always chiming in. It's always good to keep that convo going. I will actually, you know what, Alan? Why don't you handle these social tags for us? See how this goes.
Oh wow!
Trial by fire.
I definitely wasn't ready for this, but no. Come check us out on all our social media accounts. You can find us on YouTube. hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for the notifications, find out what all we got going on. Got Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon at CiNEMACHiNE Pod.
Yes.
Throw us a few dollars over there.
There you go. You did it. That was good.
Well, thank you.
That's good.
Thank you.
Very
I only need to go take a half a nerve pill now. That one threw me off.
Gotta keep you on your toes. Listen, I gave you credentials to StreamYard, so man, the comments tonight.
I'm on all the admin stuff. Hey.
Yeah. So you helping me out because I can't do it all, you know. But anyway, yeah, like I said, guys, appreciate you tuning in. And we'll be back Thursday with CiNEMAChINE, and then hopefully Ryan will be back next week because I know that he's going to want to talk about a lot of the stuff that we talked about tonight. So we'll probably rehash some of that as well, in addition to all the crazy stuff that's likely to come out in the coming week. So I guess that's it. So until next time, we'll see you on Capecast.
Okay.